Right, apologies for that one. I'm not sure what went on with that, and for some reason the stream title did not change, so it's going to say round 3 around Japan, so apologies for that, but I have to update it. But yeah, for some reason Killer's internet went off, so I'm now going to be the one helping with the stream. He is back into the session and into the party, so hopefully there isn't anything that goes wrong. Ignore the fact it says a rope play connected at the top, because I wasn't expecting this to happen very quickly, but you know, we move here. Yeah, we are under a safety car at the moment, after those crashes of course occurring with Marcio and Chris. So yeah, we're just of course waiting to get this one straight underway, just waiting for Ivo to catch up, and the safety car should be in at the end of this lap. But yeah, Lix, Reservoir, Miami, Tope, Ivo and Luke all making a pit stop, and as I was just saying beforehand, I don't think it's gonna really sort of happen for some reason. Wait, why is it on? Huh? Okay.
Oh dear.
What's happening here then?
We've gone on to immersive broadcast safety car.
It's on immersive though, which is strange.
Yeah.
That's very strange. Okay, well, we're on a broadcast safety car, so you know they'll be able to. Yeah, I don't know what is going on now. Then I have no idea what's going on. Oh, and now okay, something's definitely going on with this. Not a clue what's going on.
I don't know. Oh no, we are streaming. Okay, yes. How exciting! I don't think the new link hasn't gone through the LOE Discord, so let me just pop it in general. Yes, we're in a strange situation here. We are still streaming, aren't we?
Yeah, we should. We are definitely live. It says we're definitely live.
We are. Yeah, it's not popped up in the live streams channel. But we've got safety car ending, and Felipe is going to get us going. And I think he's going to run away with this a little bit. But as we mentioned, there's pit stops that have gone on behind him. He's yet to make a stop, so he's not our net leader of this race. He's only our track position leader. It is worth noting that.
Yeah, it looks as if everybody else is also saying that their game's broken. I don't know what has gone on whatsoever. But we're back underway from the looks of things. Nolan did have a good restart. Ben JS though having an even better restart, managing to keep up with him. Sen also trying to go down the inside of RJ down in towards turn number 1. I think the Mercedes is going to get that move done. RJ they're going to hold it around the outside to have the inside in towards turn 2. A little bit of wheel banging between the pair of them, but I think RJ is going to be able to hold on to that one. They're still both side by side with each other. A little bit of wheel banging still. They're both still side by side through the S's as well. Sen going to get it down the inside through turn number 5. What a move that was from Sen, and gets the move done on the Red Bull of RJ. Sen now up in the third. For a debut in the League of Europe, I mean, that's one way to do it, and putting himself up into P3, Jay.
Yes, tremendous racing on the restart there. Everyone's kept it nice and clean. Reservoir, I can see, is very close to the back of Lix coming into turn 11, and almost a little bit of contact there ahead of him as Sui Ross almost sailing into the back of Luke. It was worth remembering this could be a potential battle for victory in Miami. Forced wide there as Reservoir's rear end stepped out on him, and Miami is through. I think Reservoir had very poor traction, and Miami claims the place, and his race is back on the mend after that spin earlier on, and we got contact in with Scream and Evans into turn 12 and then towards 13, and Rex gets barged in front and he gets barged to the side. And look at Miami and Sui Ross as well towards turn 15. It's all going on. Luke sends it on Scream up ahead of us as there's Chris and Miami barging wheels once, twice. There's Ferraris either side of them trying to look for a way through. Look at Reservoir here around the outside of turn 16 and then 17 and then 18. His teammate, and Ivo as well, sorry. And Ivo's going to nip through his teammate to turn 19 here. As they flying into the pits goes the Scream. He must have picked up damage. Ferraris are still at it. And look at Sui Ross behind them. They're all trying to make a move here. It's LOE and a classic Z car restart. And here comes Sui Ross towards turn 1. This is going to be a massive send. He drives clean into the side of Reservoir. What on earth happened there? That looked like a deliberate shove from Ross into the side of Reservoir.
It was actually the other way around. It looked as if Reservoir was, well, it looked as if Sui Ross, was trying to keep it in a straight line going down in towards turn 1, and Reservoir actually moved himself out left ever so slightly. It bumped off Sui Ross, I think, just due to the contact model, and now, unfortunately for Sui Ross, he's now gone around out and now down into P14. Miami's still the only one with a 3-second time penalty, but he's managed to get himself up ahead of the rest of the medium runners. However, Ivo may be trying to look for a move down in towards the hairpin, down towards the second DRS straight. There's a little bit of contact between the pair Often Miami trying to give him a little bit of a shove, but yeah, they're both side by side of each other now, both burning out their ERSs.
Oh no!
That was not what you want to do. He was turning into him, and now Ivo is out. That's a safety car, and Miami has got no front wing. The rest of the hard runners now, though, they can make their pit stop and go to the end on these mediums, but surely Luke, Miami, and Reservoir are going to follow suit.
I don't know if they would pit. I mean, if they feel like they can get to the end, they get track position. We get a Luke Miami Reservoir top 3, and it is. I'm going to say that was shocking driving from Miami. As you say, just came and turned clean over Ivo. I think that was. I don't want to use the word appalling, but it wasn't malicious, but it was shockingly bad. Felipe's in, Koskapen's in, Sen is in, RJ is in, Coxie is in, Evans is in, Luke stays out, Rex is in, Miami is in because he's missing or minus the front wing, Reservoir in as well. So Luke is going to be the only one here who stays out that pitted onto mediums. Lix and Taupe, the ones who started on mediums, are going to inherit P2 and P3. So Felipe, perhaps not as... His race isn't quite as in the mud as it could have otherwise been now, because a lot of drivers are coming to the pits. Ivo's retirement and Miami's missing a front wing has saved him a couple of places there, and he's just got to be careful of everyone, well, in front and behind. He's got to take a measured approach to getting through the traffic ahead of him. I'm sure Luke will jump out of his way when he gets there, but Lix and Taupe are not going to be easy people to pass.
I'll tell you what, Jake. Lix and Taupe try and fight for the win. Lix hasn't actually had his usual weekly spin as of yet, and I don't want to try and tempt fate here, but I wonder if we're going to see him actually do it or not. I think this might be the first time that Lix is. Well, I think this might be the longest that Lix has actually managed in a race so far this season in League of Europe, and I mean I would technically say he's in the net lead. I still think Luke has to pit because those tyres are going to be dire at the end. What I'm hoping for, or what I'm hoping isn't going to happen, is that goes into broadcast again, because I've definitely sent it to Immersive for the safety car, so I have no idea why it's on or why it went to broadcast for it. But yeah, hopefully it doesn't this time. But yeah, Lix and Taupe.
Do you know what happened for the drivers?
I have no idea. Because they were saying that the game was broken, so I don't know, to be honest with you. I guess we'll find out in a minute.
We will indeed. So we've got a situation here where 11 drivers are all on identical tyre strategies. They're all on fresh mediums. It's just the front 3 that are on the alternate. But that's how we like it, isn't it? It's fun when you've got a hunt on. Pitchforks and torches out for those on the fresh mediums, and for the top 3, they are very much got targets on their back. Safety car will be in at the end of next lap. I wonder if... Oh, and here we are. We have gone into broadcast safety car once again. So perhaps the game is going to skip ahead for us. And it might spare us a lap of rambling, Jack. But bizarrely, we are on broadcast.
Yeah, I don't know why it's done that. I really don't. Yeah, I'm really baffled.
I can confirm to you, safety car experience is on broadcast in the settings, I'm afraid. But formation laps on immersive, safety cars on broadcast. It's no bother. Everybody wanted to make pit stops has made pit stops, and it spares us some waffle, doesn't it? It's just it's a fun novelty. We get to skip the safety cars.
Yeah, no, I suppose that's true. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, no, apologies. I thought I've set it down into immersive. It was saved as immersive, so I have no idea why it's changed it to broadcast. But we move, I suppose. But yeah, so all these guys are going to be taking control of their car roughly about now, and safety car is in this lap, as you say. So we'll see how Luke is going to take this. Wonder if Luke is going to be able to...
crashed. Miami's crashed under the safety car. That's one for the pantheon of safety car bowls. Turn 16, another victim.
I think, because I see he's typing in the Division 2 chat, so I wonder if he realised that it was already going to be coming off, and I don't think he realises he's out.
Oh dear. I mean, karma is a cruel mistress, isn't it? And he murdered Ivo, so perhaps he got his comeuppance there. Luke leads by 7/10 of a second as we're on the restart. Koskappen's going to have a look at Felipe here into turn one. Is he going to go for a send? No, he's not, but he spooks Felipe into, I think, going a little bit deeper on the brakes. Hooks back, makes his apex well. Luke has run away with this one, going through the first sector, hasn't he? Already a second clear of Lix and Tope. They may be 9 laps old, but those mediums are still working absolute treat for the AlphaTauri and Koskappen. And Felipe are really hounding the back of Tope here through the first sector.
Yeah, they certainly are, and already you can see, like you say, Luke 1 second up ahead of Lix.
Oh, Felipe's out of shape. And Koskappen's got a massive run here down towards turn 11. Is he going to go for the send? This could be for the race winning. Koskappen goes deep, and Felipe almost hits the back of Tope there. And I think it's going to be a double overtake for Koskappen into P2. Felipe will be stewing at that, and he's going to get past the Williams as well. Is he going to have a go at Ben JS of Koskappen? Is he going to make a double send towards turn 12? I think he's playing the sensible game. He backs out, but that was a aggressive move from Koskappen there.
Yeah, but it worked out for him. It wasn't really too aggressive to that point. I think it was more the case he wanted to try and box up Nolan, and it worked. And Koskappen now is what I would say is now our net race leader. So, yeah, and also Sen getting a move on Tope. Coxie going around the outside of the triple rights on Tope as well. So Tope now down into 7th, and next one to overtake him will be Evans. But I'm going to go back towards the front end of the field because Lix really is a sitting duck, and it looks as if Koskappen already going down the inside of him, maybe down in towards turn number 1, but Luke already 2 seconds up ahead of Lix. Here we go, down in towards turn number 1, sends it straight down the inside. Nicely done from him, up into P2, and now can chase down I think it was his teammate from last season. No, Luke and Felipe were teammates last season. Sorry, so it puts at least a car between Ben and Nolan, but especially with those being on the same set of tyres. Lix, unfortunately, the strategy worked out for him if there wasn't another safety car, but there was, and unfortunately for him now, it's basically put his strategy null and void, and the rest of the medium runners can just sort of go and run away with that as much as possible. And yeah, Nolan going to go down the inside, down towards the hairpin, and get that move done on the Alfa Romeo.
He does indeed. Miami said his controller went weird is the reason why he disconnected. Evans is on the attack and he's pursuing IRT Tope, and now he's got Tope safely in his wing mirrors as it takes P7. Tope sliding down the field there is up ahead. Look at this battle for P2. It's not over yet, and Sen is going to be the next one to have a look at the back of Lix on the hard tyres, and Felipe is not letting Ben JS get out of his sight. Now he's made that move, and there goes Sen right up the inside of Lix into turn 15. A nice move, and Coxie's going to follow him through, I think, on the traction there. As all Lix, I think, just nicked the rear wheel of Coxie. I had a terrible view of it, but I think he just about managed it. Keep an eye out for Evans in this race. I think Evans can get on the podium here with what may go on ahead of him in this race yet. I think there's a battle brewing, a storm brewing even, between Koskappen and Felipe in this race. DRS now enabled. I don't rule out Evans for a podium at any rate yet. Started 17th, now running P7. He's having a tremendous race.
Yeah, he certainly is. Rex going to go down the inside of his fellow IRT driver of Tope in towards turn number 1. Tope is going to hold it around the outside to have the inside to turn number 2, but just not having that traction in comparison to the rest of the medium runners means that Rex gets that move done. RJ now down into P10, despite literally being right behind his teammate at one given stage. So I'm not sure what had happened with RJ, but yeah, he's now down into 10th. Tope is in 9th. Ivo leaving the session, of course, after that collision that he had with Miami. Still really strange as to why Miami did what he did originally, but yeah, we'll move anyway. Yeah, as you say, DRS is now going to be enabled, so let's have a look and see. Evans should breeze past Lix, but I think just didn't have the exit that he would have wanted coming onto the back straight. But I mean, yeah, look at that. DRS really, and ERS just allows him to sail on by. He's now up into P6, and I think his teammate also might follow it. Is Rex going to try dive it down the inside? He certainly is. Lix is, in fact, is actually just going to let him go. So Lix now down into 8th. Smart move, as you're not trying to block your teammate, especially considering that he's battling with Evans out in front of him for that P6 position. But yeah, Ben JS starting to catch up to Luke Evans slightly. The gap is now down to 1.6 after overtaking both of the hard runners. It was at about 2 seconds. He's now starting to bring that down slightly, and those mediums for Luke, I think, are going to start to go off relatively soon, Jake.
I think they are. I mean, I feel sorry for the hard runners. They're really struggling. If that's any indicator, I think Luke is going to be equally in the mud here. If you cross Captain, you could play this a little bit smart and let Luke drag you along for as long as to give Nolan less time to attack. But he seems to be dealing with the DRS of the Alpha Tower behind him fairly well as Reservoir does pass Toby to turn 1, although Toby's going to try to cut back underneath and get the run down towards turn 2 and 3. It's going to take a wide line and that's going to cost him place. In fact, I think he let Reservoir go there. Reservoir, the only person in the field now with a penalty. I say that. Coxey just gets one. Half a second behind Sen. About P4 and P5, and that's going to give Evans another place. Up, it was in 7th, now 6th, and he's going to be up in 5th with the penalty. So he's running along an absolute treat in this race. Felipe, 4/10 a second behind. Koskappen into turn 11 on this lap. I think he's going to have a good chance here, and this is going to be his best chance because Luke is out of DRS range for now, but he's not using. In fact, he's got nothing to use. Has Felipe? He's on 3% ERS and he's catching, but he's not going to be catching enough. Coxey, though, is going to go for a move, possibly behind Sen. No, he's not. Reservoir's passing Licks, though, further back. Coxey cuts underneath the Mercedes, going to turn to the outside for turn 13. Almost contact there. He goes the long way round, and there's contact, and that was ill-advised from Coxey, I think. Track pinches up on the exit there, and now he's lost it on traction as well, and that's him out of the top 10.
Yeah, and Evans also just having a bit of a bad exit on that hairpin. Rex is now going to go, well, have the outside for the triple right-handers. The American at his own home circuit goes around the outside and gets that move done on Evans. Nicely done for him. Running at a decent P5 as, Mr. QVR Koskappen. 3-second time penalty. So there, well, I'm going to say it now. I think that's his race win gone. That is definitely his race win gone, and there's another 3-second time penalty. I think that was for Coxey, who's actually now coming to retire from the session. I can't see it really because of the remote play connected at the top for some strange reason, but yeah, Coxey has retired, unfortunately, from the session. So now the top 12 all within a shout of getting points. As long as they do finish 90% of the race, they will all get themselves a set of points. But the annoying thing for Nolan is that I don't think he's going to be allowed to go for this race win, especially with Ben JS being in between both of the Alpha Tauris. As all the while that he is there, Luke is not going to be able to move out of the way for the Red Bull. And yeah, the only way that really Nolan can still win this race is if Ben gets past Luke, and then Luke either lets Nolan by or overtakes him cleanly on track. So we might even see a battle of the Alpha Tauris very, very soon here, Jake, because look how much QVR Koskappen is catching up to the back of Luke, almost onto the back of that rear wing.
I think he may be able to get the 3 seconds on Luke he needs. You know, if he can drop him, I think there's a chance to get the 3 seconds. I think P2 is not completely out of the question yet. Reservoir and RJ battling away, turn 13. And Academic for Reservoir because he's going to drop to last at this rate with his 2 now penalties in this race. But he's going to have a send into turn 15, and why not give us some entertainment? And he does take P7 on track. Evans is not managed to have another go back at Rex, since losing that place, losing P5, but he's running along an absolute treat and will solidify his grip on P2, although he's going to lose a lot of points to Felipe. Luke at the moment is going to have, he's going to have a rear wing full of Red Bull at the moment. There's a little bit of contact there between himself and Koskappen. I was going to say he's going to have a stranglehold on P4 in the championship. He may even pass Larkin into P3. I'm not completely sure on how that one shakes out right now. As Scream and Licks look at this for P8, and Reservoir is in this as well. And Reservoir is going to try sneak through on the Alfa Romeo in the S's. That would be audacious in the extreme, but no, he settles for P10 does Reservoir, and he seems like he's losing grip and losing time and losing places hand over fist right now. But it's the battle for the lead on track is where it's going, and Koskappen got very out of shape coming out of turn 11, and I think Felipe's going to get this one, Jacob.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why I think Nolan was down the inside of him going in towards that hairpin. Nolan is now going to get that move done on Mr. QVR Koskappen. Is he going to be able to get the move done on his teammate? I wonder if Luke is going to back off for him. No, he isn't. Nolan's going to have to wait in P2 for the time being. There's also other moves going down. Evans getting the move done on Rex down the straight, and same with that Scream on Reservoir. That Scream getting overtaken by Licks as Reservoir dropping down to P12 now as well. And here we go. QVR Koskappen straight back down the inside in towards the hairpin on Nolan, and I think he might have just gotten that move done, although Nolan is going to have the inside for the triple rights. Mr. QVR Koskappen's going to have the outside for him, and manages to hold it around the outside in the end. Nicely done from Ben, but that's almost put him out of DRS from Luke. Luckily for him, he's managed to just about hold it, but it's now allowed Sen to close back up, and where it was a 3-way fight for this win of the race, it's now a 4-way fight, and that's not really going to be good for Koskappen, because it's going to be another position that he's going to lose unless those guys behind him get a penalty.
I can't wait for Felipe's DM to me after this race where he tells me he's not trying to race Koskappen so he can beat Luke and win the race. He's only fighting Koskappen to hold him up so Luke can win the race instead. That's probably what I'll have in my DMs in about an hour's time. Evans is now ahead of Rex for P5, but he's 4 seconds off the back of Sen. Don't count Sen out of the battle for this race win, because look, he's all over the back of Felipe. Felipe's had a moment somewhere. In fact, he's very slow. I think Felipe's got damage in this race, because look at Sen. He's going to make a move into turn 11 here. Felipe can't get the car turned into any which corner.
Yeah.
And Sen's going to have a look around the outside. He's then going to cut back underneath. And Felipe is going to be a sitting duck down the straight with no ERS to use. Sen has a little bit, and Sen is going to take P3 on track here. So Felipe, somewhere in all of that, has picked up damage, and he's doing a Miami almost there, covering off the inside line. But Sen, is he going to get through? He's quite slow in the straight line, but Felipe's fighting this hard. Clearly it was either a mistake or it's a damage or it was something. But he's really putting a squeeze on Sen there into turn 13, and still...
Yeah, very good battle in between the pair of them. Sen's going to have the inside for this hairpin. I don't think Nolan's going to be able to hold that off for much longer. And yeah, Koskappen and Luke both side by side through the triple rights as well. Of course, this is for the race lead. And of course, Luke's tyres are absolutely dead at this point. More so than the Red Bull behind him. But manages to hold on to the lead of this race for the time being. Where that battling with Nolan and Sen really helped out Ben JS. It's now helping him.
He's got no front right end plate, Jack. That's what he has completely got damage. I think he might yet struggle to get P4 in this race.
Yeah, no, he certainly will, and I was just about to say that as well. I just saw that he had no front right end plate as Ben JS now into the lead of the race, getting the move done in towards turn 1. Rex getting that move done once again on Evans as well. So Nolan, yeah, really is starting to struggle now, and I don't know how he picked up that damage. It must have been off of the back of Ben JS because I didn't see him go around anywhere at any point, to be honest with you. So it must have been on the back of that Red Bull that he must have hit. And yeah, look, Luke, his tyres, you know, he's tried to make them last as much as possible, but I don't think they're going to. His only saving grace at the moment is the DRS he's getting off of the back of that Red Bull. I think it's a battle between Koskappen and Sen for this race win, and he's got about a 3-second buffer, just about. I think it's actually just been cut down. That buffer to Ben JS is literally around 2.7, 2.8 seconds. He needs to get a bit of a shift on.
Yeah, he's got a 2.8 gap to Sen right now, and that's going to be, as Evans gets past Rex, and that could be crucial in terms of the championship standings, because it launches Evans onto the back of Felipe. And remember, they're first and second in the championship here. We've got a yellow flag for Resify. They're first and second in the championship. Felipe was going to have a big swing in his favour when he was winning this race. Evans was down in 7th and 8th. Evans could end up cutting the gap to Felipe after this one. His gap is 2.8 to Felipe. I think it's going to be tight. It's the first sector this lap where Felipe's really lost a lot. Evans hasn't caught up massively through sectors 2 and 3. He's gained another 4/10 through the end of the lap. But Rex is going to be an irritation here for Evans. Evans will just want to beat Nolan at any cost. But Rex and RJ could be massive, massive irritations. Sen's gap to Koskappen, 3.3. That's your battle for the win right now. And we've also got a very exciting battle for P4. So I think they're two ones we really need to keep an eye on. And whether Luke's tyres hang together as well.
Rex also trying to go for a send down in towards turn 1 on Evans. Didn't manage to get the traction out of that and made him drop back ever so slightly more. So it was a good attempt, but it wasn't enough for the Alfa Romeo. And it now brings RJ onto the back of him as well. I think he needs to start watching his rear wing more so than at the front. But yeah, Luke, look, 1.1 seconds now behind Koskappen. Those mediums with still 4 laps left, or 3.5 laps left to go now. I think Luke has really done the bad thing here. I think he probably should have put on that second safety car, to be honest with you, Jake, because then he would have at least had a chance of, well, I'll probably say around where Rex and RJ are, as Rex now down the inside on Evans once again in towards or at the end of the back straight. Evans is going to have the inside for the double right-handers, and we're going to see if the American's going to be able to hold it around the outside on the both of them. I think he's just about able to. This is some good battling between the pair of them all race long, and Rex is going to be able to hold that position. Evans looking for a switchback but not able to go for that. RJ as well, just being a little bit of a spectator on the back of these two. He wants to try and make sure, wants to see if any of these two make a mistake, if he can try and capitalise on it, but they're just not making any mistakes. They're doing some very good battling between the pair of them, as that's a penalty going for, I believe that was Resify once again on those soft compounder tyre. He's not really enjoying this race whatsoever. I said he'd be our race winner. He's more like our race loser at the moment. What I'm saying, that there's been another few more DNFs.
this battle for P5 is saving Felipe's race right now. Although I've got a theory. I think Evans has got damage. If you're right on board with Evans, I think he's struggling to get that car turned into the corners. His tyres aren't any older than Rex's. They're all 12 laps old. But I think that car is suffering a little bit in the corners. I think he's got some understeer in there that he can't deal with, which is causing him to suffer a little bit with damage. Felipe is now going to be very vulnerable. He's within Rex's DRS range quite considerably. 0.6 of a second is the gap. And if he's going to lose one place, you think Felipe could end in this race in P7, maybe even P8, because the Scream, this whole group is so close together. You feel once Felipe starts falling, he's going to properly tumble in this race. Cost Captain's lead now 1.9 seconds. He's only got 2 1/3 laps to get that further second on Luke. And what you're saying about Luke, I think if you're in his position, you could finish 7th or 8th, or you could chance a win. And I think Luke would. You've got a chance to win in that situation, haven't you? If you know you can win the race, and you'll see from his percentage on his tyres that if it's just about doable, I think you've got to take that chance. You've got to go for the win if it's on the cards. Because he's going to come home, if he does finish this race, either way, with very good and much needed constructors points for AlphaTauri, given Felipe's front wing situation right now. And I think he's going to lose his first position so far since that damage into turn 1 on this lap now.
Yeah, let's have a look then. Down towards turn 1, American of Rex all over the back of the AlphaTauri. You can see just the amount of grip that the Alfa Romeo has in comparison. But no, Nolan manages to hold on to it at the moment. And they're all going to be behind him going through the S's. So if they have to stream on, be careful. Because it's going to be, you're going to have a stricken AlphaTauri with a bit of a broken front wing. Going a little bit slower than usual in front of you, and yeah, you can see it. Rex almost pushing along the AlphaTauri up the hill as well. Evans also basically just pushing the other Alfa Romeo as well. So yeah, I think Nolan is really in for a bit of a storm behind him. He's got 3 cars all over the back, and I think Nolan's losing all of these positions. He's in fact gone deep in towards the corner. Rex is now going to try and go down the inside. Evans also right behind him. I'm surprised they haven't gotten past him yet. But Nolan's car looks very quick in a straight line. Evans are going to try and go down the inside of Rex, and might even try and go down the inside of Nolan, down in towards the exit of the corner. Both very close to each other. Rex is going to hold it around the outside. These two have been battling all race long. A little bit of contact between the pair of them. Is RJ maybe going to try and capitalise on something? He wasn't too close enough, but look how close they are together with it as well. Evans is going to have the inside, but had to back out of that one. RJ, I thought, was also going to try and get involved with that. But yeah, contact between them. Must have been a bit of oversteer from, I think it was Rex on the outside, that just sort of drove them into that with each other. So yeah, it was tight. It was definitely tight. And Luke out of 3 second range from Ben on the final lap now as well, Jake.
He is, and he's only 1.4 ahead of Sen. I think he's going to be absolutely nursing those tyres. He's got to be treating them so gently, probably avoiding all of the curbs through here, doing his absolute best. He's not avoiding the curbs, he's going full at them through the S section. But I think he slips into DRS, he could be very vulnerable in Sector 3. Felipe, I think Rex and Evans just need to stop tripping over each other and just focus on trying to get this P4, or at least one of them getting the P4. Surely it's better for Evans' sake that he lets Rex get past Nolan last lap, and then he has a crack at Nolan this lap, and that's a better situation for him than where it is right now. And Sen is within a DRS range of Luke now on the last lap, and it could be that it comes to a little cheeky turn 15 send, and Felipe is going to weave his way down the straight here. He's got everything to defend with, but Rex has got no straight line speed. Evans has got a lot more. He's made the move on Rex last lap. Can he make it stick this time? Can he go for the send on Nolan as well? He's going to go brave and deep on the brakes, and Rex can't fight back this time. Evans has got one shot. He's got to send into turn 15. Sen hasn't managed to do it on Luke. Can Evans do it on Felipe? He's going to go around the outside. He's looking for... Can he get round turn 16, 17, 18? I think Nolan's got this covered off, and it's going to be Kos Kappen around the final corner. He's going to take victory here at Kota. Well-deserved well. Luke's going to be second, Sen's third. Can Nolan hold this off into the last corner from his championship rival early on in the season? Evans is going to go for it. He has gone for it. He spun himself round, and Felipe's going to take P4, and Evans should have settled for P5. RJ's 5th, Rex is 6th, Scream is 7th, Tobe 8th, Licks 9th. Evans finishes 10th. Sweet Ross 11th, Reservoir 12th, and those kind of moments you can say, well, sod it, I'm going to go for it, Jack, but it's better to love and to lose and hold on to P5 than it is to never have loved at all and finish in P10, and that analogy didn't even make any sense, but I don't think Evans should have done that.
Yeah, I think he definitely bit off more than he could chew. I think that's probably the right analogy for that one. And as you say, he wanted that P4 up ahead of his title rival. I understand going for it, but at the same time, I don't think the move was on. And that kind of proved that the move wasn't on. And Evans, unfortunately, where he probably only lost a couple of little points to Nolan out in front, he's now losing a significant amount of points. And also with Larkin not being here as well, it just means he goes well way in front of those other two as well. But yeah, Mr. QBR Koskappen, I said don't rule him out. We didn't rule him out, and he did take the win for this evening. With Luke in second, I do apologise for doubting you, Luke, and Sen on his debut in the League of Europe, finishing in P3, and a good debut for certain for him. Otherwise, yeah, it was that was all there really was to it. He kept himself out of trouble, just sort of driving right behind everybody, just making positions gained like when everyone was making mistakes, and he made it work. So congrats, Sen, on of course a podium on your League of Europe debut. But yeah, QBR Koskappen, he's definitely chucking his hat into the ring for this championship with these guys.
He is indeed. Let's have a look at what approximately that will do to the standings. So Koskappen gains 25 points. He goes up onto 60 points. He's now tied with Larkin. Luke's 18 points puts him onto 65. Felipe goes further ahead onto 89. Evans now only has 64. So it's 89 for Felipe, 64 for Evans, 60 for Larkin. Sorry, 89 for Felipe, 65 for Luke, so it is now an AlphaTauri 1-2 in the championship. Evans is third on 64, then Larkin and Koskappen are tied on 60. Koskappen was your winner in the end with the best lap time apparently of 6.2 seconds on my screen. Luke second fastest lap with the fastest lap time of 4.256 seconds. Incredible pace from him, light speed from Luke. Sen third, Felipe fourth, RJ fifth, Rex sixth at his home track, Scream seventh, Taupe eighth, medium starter, not really working out for him in the end. Lix ninth, Evans 10th after that shambolic last lap send, Sweet Ross 11th, Reservoir 12th, Coxey 13th, Miami 14th, those two DNFing, as did Ivo, Marcio, Chris, Charlie, Brent. At one point in that race felt like we might not have any cars finishing the race, but in the end it was 12 points and positions and 12 finishes in the race.
Yeah, and I think that was. I don't know how to sort of describe how that went down. Obviously, I had a very good racing between both Evans and Rex throughout the entirety of that, as well as both Nolan and Benjamin and Luke all sort of having their own little battle with that. I can't lie, my biggest disappointment throughout all of that, Jake, if I'm honest with you, is Miami with that battle, with that collision he had with Ivo. He was in P2. He had that spin early on. It must have just. I think it went to his head a bit, and then, yeah, that obviously kicked off with the both of them. So yeah, I'd have to say that would probably be my biggest disappointment for this evening. But like I say, we can't take away what Ben did. Same with Luke and Sen and Nolan as well. I don't know how he got that damage. I really don't know how he got that damage. So I'm sure he'll probably tell us very soon as well. But yeah, I mean. That was it for a race. Have we got any podium interviews or?
I'd shoot straight off, so not for me. Right. I'm afraid.
Okay, no, that's fine. We won't do any podium interviews for this evening. Apologies to top three, but we did kind of sort of start it later as well as having other issues. So, thank you to everybody that has tuned in for this evening. Jake, have you got any final thoughts just for that race at all?
No, just it was delightful to have you back. I've missed you.
And I have missed you too as well. So thanks to everybody that has tuned in for watching tonight. Make sure you guys do check out Division 1 and Division 3 next week at 6:30 p.m. GMT. Division 1 covered by James Head and Old School, and Division 3 covered by Jess Gamer and Evil Dragon, and Division 2 and Division 4 at 8:10 p.m. GMT. Division 2, of course, covered by us two with our sweet dulcet tones, and Division 4 covered by QVR Verstappen and QVR Packer. So you don't want to be missing out championship battles are starting to ramp up now, more so as we get into the season. Thank you to everyone that has tuned in for tonight, and we'll catch you guys next week for round number 7 around the Circuit